chat. You're going to need everything that we've needed in the past for painting. We're painting. And as a reminder, before class, I always put what we need in Canvas in the module for the week. Okay, so we're going to mix some light blue today. So on your palette, get your small flat brush, and I want you to take one pretty big scoop, just one though, of blue. One big scoop of blue. Clean your brush. Yeah, I know I have dirty water. I've been using it all day today. But when you clean your brush, see, it looks like it's clean, but then there's paint up here in the ferrule. So you need to wipe that off and squeeze out the water and get that clean. You don't want that to dry in your brush. It will ruin your brush. Okay, now I'm going to take my white and I'm going to scoop out 3 scoops of white. And I'm not going to add it right to it. I'm just going to put it right next to it. 1, 2, 3. We're going to make a light blue for a sky. Okay, so I'm going to now add in small amounts of blue until I get the sky color that I'm looking for. And in the Pacific Northwest where we are, sometimes the sky looks white, but really that is just the clouds, the overcast clouds completely covering the sky. Most places in most around the world, our sky is some sort of blue if it's during the day. And that's what we're going to paint today. So I'm slowly adding in my blue till I get a sky blue that I'm happy with. I'm going to probably end up getting all of that blue in there. And I'm really mixing. I don't want there to be any little bits of white or blue. Okay, so that is our first step, mixing our light blue. And for us on page 12 in our journal, we're going to paint about the top half with this blue. And it's important when we're doing a sky and adding clouds that we paint pretty thickly. Okay, so I'm laying down a lot of paint. I am using my small flat brush. And I'm going to paint about halfway down my page, maybe a little less, but I'm really putting it on thick, okay, so that it doesn't dry instantly. So a little bit about acrylic paint. Artists, before they had acrylic paint, they had to use oils, and they loved acrylic paint once it was made because it dries quicker. Well, that's great, except for when we need to blend. And for our clouds, we're going to need to blend. So I am trying to put down a heavy schmear, kind of like a schmear on a bagel, amount of blue paint in our sky so it doesn't dry quickly. Okay, so that is the first step. Then you want to really clean your brush. Okay, so I'm really cleaning it. I'm going to double clean it. Okay, and get out some white paint. And this is actually something you kind of have to hurry. So that's why I'm kind of hurrying. I'm getting some white paint here on my palette. Again, cleaning my brush because we don't want this blue to completely dry before we add the white. So we're going to do what's called a cumulus cloud. Nope. Shoot. I just forgot the name. I'll remember in a minute. Okay. So I'm going to take my paint, stratus cloud, not cumulus, not nimbus. Okay. So here's the paint. The white paint is on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to start at towards the top. My brush is horizontal, if you just watch for a minute, and I'm going to take it and touch it and go left and right, back and forth, back and forth. And then I'm going to kind of go down and see how it's starting to mix. Get more white paint. Back and forth, left and right, and then I might go back, up, left and right, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so I kind of went diagonally down and then pushing that paint around diagonally back up. Okay, then I'm going to kind of wipe off all the paint on my brush, and just below the cloud I'm going to scrub or go back and forth and mix it with the blue so that not so that it totally disappears, but so that it's starting to blend in to the blue. And I know I have some glare. It's probably very difficult for you to see. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to clean my brush, get some white on the tip, and this time I'll start down lower, left and right, back and forth. Get some more on my brush. I can go right up into that cloud if I want to. I don't have to do a line all the way across. It can just go right up in there. Okay? Then I'm going to, underneath, I'm going to start blending into the blue, kind of scrubbing in a little bit. Adding that white to that blue. Okay? And then I can kind of go back. If it's not enough white at the tops, and just with a little bit of white on my brush, I can add some highlights on the tops. Okay? Because the sun is hitting the tops of the clouds, so that's where the highlight is going to be. And as you first do this, it kind of just looks not like clouds, to be quite honest. And it takes time and practice, just like an athlete would practice, to make these clouds. And then I'm just kind of continually adding little bits of white. Go over here. And it's back and forth, left and right, left and right. Going up, going down, left and right, left and right. Okay? And then blending below to make the cloud blend into the sky. And this morning was the most amazing sunrise with beautiful clouds that were not white. The way I saw them were pink and kind of purpley and blue and orange. So if you had a sunset, that's what you would do. You would use not white clouds or white paint. You would use other colors. Okay? So it's lots of left and rights, back and forths. See if I can push that up for you here. So I want you to do clouds all over the sky. Left and right, back and forth, back and forth. Okay? I'm going back in with some white paint again just to get the top parts of these clouds whiter than the rest of the parts of the clouds. So continually going to my white paint. And you'll notice they're not straight lines. Okay, they're up and down. Okay, and then I can add some more white if I want the blue under here to be, the clouds to be fuller. Okay, I can add some more white underneath here if I want the clouds to be fuller here too. Okay, also the best part about clouds is that if they're in the painting, in the sky, people generally read them as clouds. So you don't have to worry that people won't know that they're not clouds. If you do big round circles like I did when I was a young kid, well, people are going to know that you don't have any practice of painting real clouds. So this is why we do kind of these clouds first, because they are different than those big round fluffy clouds you do when you are young. Next thing I'm going to do with my palette is I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to make a space that's clean. Okay, and if you want to, you can take a minute and go and wash this off, but I'm just going to sit here with my paper towel and scrub with my paper towel. It doesn't have to be the whole palette clean, just part of the palette needs to be clean for our next step. So the next thing we're going to do is shrubs. So we need to make a green. So I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to make a lot more green than we have in the past. So I'm going to use my blue. I'm going to take 1 scoop of blue, put it down there, make sure you put the lid back on, and I'm going to take 3 scoops, clean your brush really well, nice clean brush, 3 scoops of yellow, so it'll be kind of like a yellowy green, so 1 scoop, because we need a lot of green because we're going to divide it a couple different ways to make the rest of our paint for this page. So 3 scoops of green, 1 scoop of blue, mix it all together. You're going to get a yellowy green, and really try to get it fully mixed. Okay, that's like not a chocolate chip size. That's more like a Hershey Kiss size, okay? And then I'm going to take this amount of paint and I'm going to make 2 more green spots. So it will end up with 3 puddles of green. Okay. Right. 3 puddles of green. Put a little bit more in that one. And now we want to make, so one of these puddles keep this color green. So I'm going to make this puddle, I'm going to keep it this color green. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to make a brown. So last time we made brown with orange and blue. This time we're going to make brown with green and red. Okay, because opposites make brown. So I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to add a small amount of red to start with because I can always add more. So I'm going to add a small amount of red to my green here. And if it's not enough, it's probably going to first turn dark green or kind of an army green. And that's clearly not enough. So I'm going to clean my brush again and I'm going to add a little bit more red. This time I think I'm going to add a bigger amount, still not a lot, but I really want to get this green to make it into a brown. It's starting. There we go. It's still quite army green. So I'm not seeing in my eyes brown, and everybody sees color differently. So that still looks like dark green to me. So I'm going to add more red to make it brown. There we go. There, I'm getting somewhere. Now I have a brown. Okay, so I have a brown puddle here and then 2 green puddles. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scoop of my brown, pretty big scoop of my brown. I'm going to put it in one of my green puddles. And this is going to